Thank you, Hugo. First of all, once again, I appreciate the opportunity to be amongst such distinguished guests and panelists. Thank you for that. And as a part of this CrossTech World panel and experience, so thank you for the opportunity. I won't bore you with the details about my 30 years history in the payment space, but I will tell you I have a passion for this. And my passion is for the customer experience. I'm an immigrant myself. I've traveled and lived around the world, and I've always struggled.
Where were you born, AJ?
I was born and raised in Lebanon initially before I migrated to the U.S. And many like the stories you see nowadays, whether it's the Ukrainians or it's the Syrians, or where there's hardship, economic crisis, war. That's what I went through in order to make my way to legally to the United States and immigrated many years ago, fortunately. But all along the way, there was always the challenges of payments, of money, of sending money back home to support my family and all of these things. So I made it a mission personally to participate in this economy and contribute back to it and find the easiest ways possible to help people like myself, first and foremost, and then scale that on as I went on and joined companies like Western Union, Tigo, and launched mobile money and remittances across many different platforms. So it's a privilege to have been through this journey because I understand much of the customer experience and I can relate to it, and I can try to solve some of those problems along the way. Maybe two or three quick things I'll tell you about me that you may not know.
Please do, please, come on. If not, I have to tell them for you, so go on.
In 2018, I was really curious about a social experiment, and I bought a pizza truck. Yes, I did get my fingers dirty and did make pizza for several weeks, and I did not accept regular payments. I introduced it to the market with two concepts: pay as much as you want, and pay with what you want. And it was really unbelievable to see how people would react to such a completely open idea of pay whatever you want for something. How much you think it's worth, pay for it. And the most creative people that would come up with the brilliant solutions were the kids. Because they would come up with the money expecting to fully pay for a product and then be told, no, it's not that much, pay what you want. And then you have the parents coming back with them, dragging them with their hands saying, I'm sorry they didn't pay you for it, but no, rightfully so. Or pay with a poem or with a picture. Imagine explaining that to a parent. But it's a really interesting social experiment
Definitely.
that I enjoyed doing. So
yeah.
I don't want to consume all the time.
No. But you worked you worked for some amazing companies. Just a little bit of your background, because I think when I met you, originally you were with
maybe Western Union.
Western Union,
Yeah.
yes.
So I started in this space with MoneyGram, actually, before joining Western Union. So started with MoneyGram, then joined Western Union, and went on to be to really run Western Union globally for many years out of Europe, and then went from Western Union to mobile money and joined companies like Tigo and then Via and Vimpelcom, and really developed millions of wallets around the world and all of the value-added services that go with them to really create the kind of robust systems that exist out there, ecosystems, for the movement of funds, movement of money, whether it's payments or remittances, but through more of a digital approach.
Good. And
Sorry,
I just want to know, no, don't worry. There's an interesting fact, and it's very seldom told, but Lebanon is the largest recipient of remittances per capita. That means if you divide the number of remittances by the number of people in the country, you reach, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000 per person in Lebanon. Of course, and sometimes we see the numbers. Of course, China and India, how many Chinese and Indians there are? There are millions, billions, of course. But if you just make that division, then you end up with countries like Lebanon, number one. You got countries like Salvador, Julio. Yes, and that's interesting, because that just determines not only the percentage of GDP, which is another way of measuring things, how important remittances are for the common people, for each individual person. So Lebanon is per capita number one. Did you know that?
I knew that, and in fact, part of the reason why they're number one is because there are more vehicles, more cars in Lebanon than people. So they have to pay for them somehow. So
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. It's a $10
Now-
billion a year market.
You, we go with you.
Oh, hello all, thank you. Thank you, Hugo, for the invite. It's my pleasure
You're
to be
welcome.
here again. So I am Rodrigo. I'm head of sales of Beeteller, a cross-border payment solutions from Brazil. And just a curiosity about what you were saying, but there are more Lebanese in Brazil than in Lebanon. You must know about that.
Absolutely.
So if you want to send money to them or send money from them to Lebanon, you can count on us, right? That's fine. So, well, my background has nothing to do to what I'm doing now. For the last 5 years, I used to be a sales executive in the good consumers industry as Unilever and Avon Cosmetics, and also a friend of mine which founded Beeteller, and then he invited me to join this journey. Lauren, my friend from a long term, is here, and then 5 years ago he invited me, hey, I had an idea and I want you with me. Oh, let's go. And then here we are 5 years later. We had begun as a payment facilitator, and now we are a payment institution licensed by the Central Bank of Brazil. And for the next week, well, I'm going to make a spot here now, but we are going to get our bank license in Brazil too. And beyond Brazil, we are operating all across Latam, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Chile, Argentina. So we are providing payments to international companies through consumers across all Latam. And moving ahead now, everything what we had done to now, we did with our own legs, our own money, our own capital, no third party involved, no loans. But now we want to expand our company, so we are already doing a first round of investors.
Okay.
We're doing that, and looking for more investors to participate with the business with us. And as you know,
AJ is an investor.
AJ, so I'm with the right guy here. So AJ, all the money we want is to invest in our expansion to get license in the other countries across Latin America. So all the money is blocked in the central bank. It's not for our own purposes, but for the business. So the money will be blocked in the central bank to get the license. So this is what we are aiming to do now.
Yeah, fantastic.
Great.
So
Good luck.
the Shark Tank version of this starts in 15 minutes.
Just beginning, and how lucky I am with the right guys beside me in all this conference here. So
Good.
it's good to be here again. Thank you, Hugo. Nice to be here again.
You're welcome. It's your turn.
Well, thanks so much for having me here. First time in this panel, and it's great. And well, it seems like there's partnerships to be done here and potential investments.
And that's
to
what
this
we're
side
going to
as
talk
well.
about. Yep.
So that's great. A little bit about me. My name is Bernardo Garcia. I'm a co-founder of Felix Pago. Felix Pago, what we're doing is we want to make remittances to LATAM as easy as sending a message on WhatsApp. That's our mission. And well, so far we're live and running. But a bit about my background. I was born and raised in Mexico, in Guadalajara. I migrated to the US about 8 years ago. Started my career as a consultant. As a consultant, I got to work with banks pretty much all over Latin America, mainly around digitization. At that time, some banks were trying to start selling online. Others were trying to get more transactions online, essentially people out of the branches. And really my job was to help them do that. After that, I really fell in love with the tech side of the business. And so I wanted to get more exposure to that. Moved to San Francisco, joined Uber. And at Uber, I was doing a lot of big operations for them. After that, I always had this idea, first, I guess, when I came to the US as an immigrant, struggled a lot. I believe, if there are immigrants in this room, it is hard to land in a country where you don't have a social security number and you're essentially an alien. And so getting products, getting everything, I remember having to put down payments for an apartment, even a down payment to get a modem for Wi-Fi. Like really, it's tough. And so always wanted to do something to make the life of immigrants easier. Really, that's why I'm building Felix. It's been about 3 years doing it, and yeah.
Yes, and you're trying to do with WhatsApp what Facebook has not been able to do themselves. So
That's correct.
yes.
But that's actually a great point and a great opening for this session, because they're trying to do it themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Very good, AJ. Very good point. Yes. And look, we had a workshop yesterday, the digital way, and the last session of the it was about partnerships. And this industry and the existence of this event is basically partnerships. I mean, this industry was built from simple partnerships. I am here, you're there, I'll send you payments, you make payments on the other side. That's how things began. And at the beginning, you could send somebody with funds from one country to the other. That's how it started, But it became just one company here, one company there, a simple partnership, correspondent or corresponsal, as we call them, and that was a simple partnerships. Now, partnerships are becoming more sophisticated than that. They're if you want to open a channel, there is you do partnerships for that. If you need licensing, if you need compliance, you RegTech, you need a software. There's so many partnerships going on, and every event that we do, every time I learn new partnerships happening. So and in this event, we have lots of new fintechs, and I ask, what do you do? We provide this and this service. And for me, it's amazing, the creativity on some of the companies, and how fintechs are really exploiting that partnership. Because in the old days, every major company, they have built everything themselves from any minor detail up. And some of them have a hard time partnering because I built it myself, I own it, but that's not really happening really anymore. I mean, there's a lot of partnering. So my first questions for the three of you, and we can talk about it, is, what is the state of partnering? What from your perspective, from your story in the industry, from the many years you've been, AJ, your story with Beeteller, you as a startup. And we're going to start with you, AJ.
Okay.
Tell me.
Look, partnership is the essence of everything we do and everything I've been involved in for the past 25 plus years. So when I first met Prepay Nation, it was still being, whiteboarded about 12 years ago. And I fell in love with the idea and stayed in touch with the founder, Anurag, and started working with the company when it became a business as a startup, which is a very important point, because when you're a startup, you're first struggling with finances, proof of concept, then partnerships. Who can I take this product to that can help me with scale, that can help me prove that there's a demand in the market? And that's the other side of the coin, is having willing partners that are either incumbents or that have been in this business as mentors or as regular practitioners, open up their doors, open up their customers, open up their locations, and allow you, who's offering a better solution, to come in and help them help themselves. That's the essence, the first most important element of these partnerships, and the partnerships that fintechs or startups bring to any industry, not just today payments or remittances. And so as we grew the company and as we grew the business, I was on the other side of Prepay Nation. I was their customer. But I opened up that door and I started learning from them. And as they started growing, when you sign up an incumbent, that credibility allows you to sign more. More people will take chances on you. Growth scales, growth accelerates. All of these things have a value chain effect and a knock-on effect that has to start somewhere. It has to start with someone taking that chance, just putting their hand across and taking the risk of doing an initial partnership with an unproven company, unproven concept, because they believe in what they're doing. And I think that's the fundamental point that people miss today, especially with startups. We have lots of opportunities to do business with many companies. If you're an incumbent, you have to change your approach and your thinking. You cannot come to a startup and say, give me a 72-page business case. They don't think the same way you do. They don't act the same way you do. They don't use the same terminology. A 72-page business case will kill that innovation in 72 minutes. Versus you have to adapt and be able to be agile and nimble and adjust and digest the way that they think, the speed that they think on, and the ability for them to implement. So I mean, these are really important things that I think that we take for granted whenever we're trying to do business with startups or with partnerships with fintechs.
Yes. Tell me, what's your point of view, and how have you managed partnerships in the growth of Beeteller?
Well, it's in this kind of conference that we had set the most important and the best partnerships we have in our business. As I had mentioned, I was from the other industry 5 years ago, and then when I start participating in this kind of conference, I met people, and people introduced me to other peoples, and then we established a lot of partnerships, which each one has his own network, and he knows people in specific segments, in specific industry, in specific services, kind of services that bring to us a lot of contribution. So we learned that once you are willing to share earns, you will earn much more. It's just easy like that. So the more people you have involved in your business, the more your growth. Obviously, you have to filter something, but we are going to talk about this. But actually establishing this kind of partnerships as knowing people who are involved in some network environment, who knows who best could serve you in the kind of service you are looking for, or even that it happened to us, that to know some clients that we had never imagined to be selling to them. So we were introduced through partnerships. So I think this is the most important in our business, not only in the sales point, but also in the back office. So now we are, for several months, we are providing payments for international companies in Brazil. So some others payment institution in Europe, like they want to reach out to the Latin market, so they are using us. And also we are using others payment institution in Latin America to access their customers. So there is a infinity opportunities in partnerships. And basically this is what support our business, good partnerships.
Great. Tell me, and I know, from your startup, I know a little bit of your journey because we worked together. Tell us a little bit of your journey with partnerships, because they've been essential in how you are right now as a company.
Oh yeah, 100% essential. I guess on my side, I want to give a quick anecdote to then try to make sense of what I'm going to say afterwards. And my quick anecdote is, when I used to work at Uber, we had a very big problem. And the problem was that we were so big and we were growing so fast that we were very arrogant, that we thought that we could build everything in-house. And we were building everything from things that don't make absolute sense for the business, like building an internal chat, when there's just for employees to chat, and any other tools for drivers or riders or whatever. And we were just failing at everything, spending a lot of money and losing time in productivity, which didn't make sense. And so my learning was, why build something that has already built by someone, that in the end, partnering will save you money, will get you there faster, and will be better for everyone. And so for me, when we started building Felix, it was about understanding what is our business. And our business is to delight customers when they send money and to make it as easy as possible. That's our business. We're not in the business of building complex technology on risk and fraud. We're not in the business of building payment gateways, crypto exchanges. We're in the business of delighting customers. And so with that very strong idea in mind is, okay, our time and energy, let's build an amazing experience for our customers, but then everything else, let's partner. And so in this journey, we were able to set up a digital remittances service in about 10 months, from 0 to live. And this was we're built on top of around 15 partners. And if you wanted to do that I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it would have taken you, 10 years and infinite capital to get to where we are today. And so for us, partnerships is just essential. And just being here and walking around the aisles and talking to people and sharing about our pains. Like, hey, we have this pain. And someone is like, oh, yeah, we actually have that covered for you. We solved it. Let's just talk. Let's integrate the API. And boom, you're done. Move on to your next problem. And to me, that's what it's all about.
Good. It's good to hear. It's good to hear because in a way, this event, as I said, is built on that. I mean, it happens organically. It happens when companies need things that are not in the market and they start building and creating ideas. But I want to talk also about the downside, because everything in life has pros and cons. Everything has the good side, and I think we're concentrated now in the good, the speed to market, the speed for you to be able to integrate those 15 partnerships, to be able to be providing a service in 10 months, et cetera, et cetera. But I want you guys, from your own experience, personal or what you've seen, what are the cons and how to avoid them? And also, I start with you. I mean, because we have a question. Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, before we go to the next chapter, I was wondering, let's take a look in the other side. What, based on your experience, what was the partner looking for in you? Were you good enough? What was their expectation? What on their side?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I cannot exactly say what they had in mind on the other side, but I want to think that they were aligned with our mission. I think our mission is it's the core of what we do. And then the other part is obviously having a mission, having a strong team, and building towards that. Hopefully, I think they're betting that down the line we're going to be probably a big business, and so they're essentially taking a leap of faith on us, because at the time when you're getting in those first conversations, it's like, hey, hi, how are you? I have a business that I haven't yet built, I haven't launched, and are you willing to take the risk on me? And for us, I think it's that those early conversations about getting aligned on the mission and believing together that you can make it happen is really what it takes on the early days. Obviously, when you have a big business already, well, you can, it's a completely different conversation and way to start.
Can I add to that? It's a great question, because as an incumbent, I was on the other side with the telcos. And this is what you're facing. You're facing basically the development cost and timeline of getting a product to market. One example is we wanted a feature to prove a proof of concept for one of the operators I worked for to do cross-border remittances. The internal scoping was 6 months worth of work, $3 million, 6 months, $3 million, and you needed board approval because it was $3 million. In contrast to finding a company that launched it in 3 weeks with $25,000. The same outcome, the same result, because that's their specialty. They're able to be agile, nimble, deliver the proof of concept, bypass all the bureaucracy. They don't have priorities of what a telco is doing as a core business and everything else. They're like, this is the advantage that you have, is when you need a quick win, first and foremost, they're the go-to people, because they can get things done at a speed and cost and efficiency and like nobody can. And they're the experts in that subject matter. That's what makes them so attractive, right? And on the other side, as startups, we look to fulfill that. So we're always looking at how we can reinvent ourselves to deliver that level of experience, expertise, speed, reliability, and service, anticipating what will be in demand.
So, any other question, or should we go to the cons? The the things we have to be aware, the things that our experience tells us, how to get a good partner, how to filter, how to understand that matchmaking is going to work. What do you can share from your own experience into that?
Yeah, I think that is a very good question. I think for us, and it kind of takes me back to the previous question, when we were initially looking for partners, we did a lot of, I would say, pre-due diligence in trying to understand really what is the company that we're partnering with trying to accomplish, and can we actually get aligned longer term? Is this, because if this is a short-term thing, it's sort of like that shiny new relationship that we can test for a proof of concept or whatever, but down the line, the priorities are completely different, then it's something that is definitely not going to work out. And so having that very strong initial alignment, I think, is very important. And well, obviously, you asked a little bit about what are the downsides of partnerships. Obviously, having partnerships sometimes means having risk, because you never know what the real situation of the other party is. And I don't know, in our case, we're here today and we're doing everything we can, but I can't guarantee that we're going to be here in 2 years. And so if someone is leaning on us for whatever operation and they can't be entirely sure if I'm going to be there for 2 years, then that's a risk, right? And it's something you always have to consider when you have those partners. So trying to do the best possible to guarantee the continuity.
And yes, and this is important to understand, because this is something that sometimes is overlooked. You know, when you're building a partnership, is okay, what happens if you decide your company decide not to provide this service anymore? How, I mean, and that has to be built into a contract. It's like, okay, you cannot, we need 3 months or whatever amount of time you need to find a new partner, and what are the penalties if you're not able to provide that for me? Because you're taking a risk, but you also want to see, okay, how I'm going to make that risk. I mean, a little bit more to the understanding what's going to happen to me if you decide to stop providing that service. And this and what if your service fails? What are those things have to be discussed. And sometimes, in the eagerness of making a partnership happen, sometimes those things are not discussed. And I know that because as a consultant, I'm asked, Hugo, I want to find these partners. Who do you think I should partner this for? A, B, C, or D? And sometimes it's pretty easy. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes, especially if you're a small fintech, you're a startup, some companies don't want to take the risk, and sometimes is like me saying, look, I think is a great idea. They're going to be successful. You're going to regret it, but that's as much as I can say on my point of view. Yeah, tell me, what's your experience?
I believe Bernardo said something very important about this due diligence on the partnerships. This relation must be very confident, because what I can say about our case is, like, we have some partners working the sell point, selling our services, and obviously he has also others providers, and we are very concerned about compliance. We provide payments for a high-risk business, so we have a central bank license. We have to be in compliance. We do all by the book. So how committed is our partners with that? Because obviously there is a lot of competitors, much cheaper, affordable, easily to deal with. Okay, so is my partnership with me committed with me because I have all these rules, or he prefers to do by the easy way, to sell those that are not hard in compliance, that are soft, more affordable, those kind of things. But so if they are not committed with our vision, our mission, which is to protect our clients, to be safe for our clients, so it's not going to be important partnership for us. It's not going to be relevant for us. So we prefer to not have it. So before dealing with some partners, we do really talk about that. You know, I am not the shipper. I am hard with compliance. We have a license. It costs a lot to have a license. The central bank have some millions of hours that are deposited in insurance there. So I have to pay this bill. So I will never be the shipper, but I promise I will be the best. Obviously, your money will be safe with us. Are you committed with that? So
good. And I tell you, look. It's as easy as look for references. Sometimes, when the due diligence is done, sometimes it is overlooked. But and sometimes it's even, did you? I tell the company, did you ask what other clients there are? Yes, they gave me a list of clients. Did you talk to some of them? No. Well, they're reputable companies. No, reach out. I mean, if same thing when you do a resume, you put references. Well, sometimes you put your best, the best people that can talk to you. You know, but in this industry, this industry is not that large that we mostly know everyone, or at least somebody knows one. So finding, references. Who is this payer good? I say something and I repeat it here. In this industry, in the long time that I've been in it, I don't talk bad about anyone, but I don't refer everybody. And if you, and I try to be honest about that. And I said, mostly because I am conscious that if I say something, somebody else is going to repeat what Hugo said. So it's not that I don't want to be honest with my opinions, but I will strongly refer who I think is your best partner for something. So look for references. Talk to clients. How do they do this? How do they do that? Are they good in compliance? Are they this and that? There's no shame in doing it. I always say if your partner doesn't like what you're doing for your due diligence, then maybe he's not a good partner for you. You know, you have to look, and it's possible. It's not a very difficult thing. There is information out there, and in this industry, even though this industry is growing and growing, and then yesterday I was looking at everybody and I said, my goodness, I probably don't know 35% of the newcomers to this conference. And I said, oh my goodness, it's really interesting what's happening, because it's an industry that is growing. But somebody knows, whoever, and there are people who have moved from one company to the other. So you always have a reference to find. That would be a point that I want to make. AJ, you want to add something to that?
I think the most important part's already been addressed, which is get aligned with the partner. You have to have some common vision. You have to ask yourself the question, is what I'm doing helping me, helping them, or hurting either party, right? At the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to make sure that you're going into this relationship to create a win-win-win, and the third win is for the customer. At the end of the day, when these two parties collaborate, it's going to help the end user. If not, what's the purpose? The other thing is to realize not every partnership is going to work out, and that's okay. But going in and recognizing some of the fail-safes prevents that from happening in most cases. Some of the things I don't particularly subscribe to are things like exclusivity. I think exclusivity in partnerships makes both parties lazy. Because, okay, if I have your product and I only have it, I'm not going to work too hard to make it successful. And if I have you as my service provider, I'm not going to work too hard to get another one. So I think that's important. I believe in more of, rather than competition, co-opetition. We all cooperate for a better outcome, whether it's to educate a consumer, educate a market, create more usage cases, all of those things. That's the, if you go in there with transparency and with alignment, you're going to achieve the best possible outcome. And having that mindset, I think, is very important. So co-opetition instead of competition, frenemy, putting these words, instead of enemy, we don't have enemies. We have friends. And sometimes we compete, and that's okay. That's what makes our products and our services better. That's why we're all here with different twists and refined and better and cheaper and faster products and services. That's what partnerships drive.
What kind of partners you looking right now? What is your ideal partner?
Look, we work
for the business you're in, for the work you're doing right now.
So as Prepay Nation, we are a marketplace for prepaid products and services. And we are, as you said earlier, we're a matchmaker. You have makers and takers. Brands are the makers. They make the products and then package them in a prepaid fashion. So whether it's Netflix, whether it's a telco, whether it's a prepaid insurance or prepaid law, it's a prepaid product. You're paying in advance for a service that you are going to receive at a later time, or that you're going to gift to someone else that they are going to receive at the time of their choice. Those are the makers. The takers are the distribution network. Who is and how are they going to have access to that product? If I have a Netflix card or if I have an airtime top-up for an operator, where can a customer buy it? The distribution network, whether it's at retail, it's on an e-commerce channel, it's through a third-party platform that's a value-added service. All of these things are part and parcel of what we do and what we look for in a partner that helps further both the brand's ambition in terms of expansion in verticals and in use cases, and the reseller's ambitions in creating customer acquisition, engagement, loyalty and rewards, and incremental sales and revenues.
Very nicely said. What kind of partners you're looking for right now?
The kind of partners that we are looking for now are those who are embedded with us to expand the business in Latin America. I think it's not going to be enough. And obviously, those who are committed and have a strength business, clean, doing everything
I know that,
by the rule.
But for example, give me a particular example. You're looking for a partner to expand to another market, to do what are you looking for?
Investors, yes.
That's the partners you're looking for now.
This is the partner we're looking for. Investors which are committed to have by the book business with us, and not a simple business doing everything in an easy way.
Committed.
Yes, committed with compliance, committed with the rules.
Investors that align to your mission.
Absolutely that.
Good.
Because we are not going to change our vision. We look our business for the eternity, not for 10 years, 20 years, but we look for the business for the eternity, for our kids, for their kids, and this is what we are looking for, not for a simple business.
Wow.
Just to have money and left. We want to be in this business for several generations.
Are you married?
I'm doing again.
You're doing it again. You tried the first time. Now you're looking for a new partner. You're looking for a committed partner. What kind of partners you're looking in now, very concretely?
There's a very long list. But
okay, that's okay.
Investors, definitely, always looking for investors. Also, any partners that can help us improve the customer experience on the payment side, for example. Better fraud systems, better compliance systems, better transaction monitoring. We're also expanding to new markets. And so right now with some current partners, we're expanding our network with them and growing the partnership. We're also looking for partners that can take us to other countries, partners that can facilitate payments on those other countries so that we can enable opposite flows as well to the US from the countries in Latin America. And we're also looking for partners that allow us to give additional benefits to our customers, so things that they would find value aside from the just traditional remittance that we do today. So a lot of different partners.
Good.
Always.
We are one of these options.
Yeah. Good. Any questions, comments, ideas? Who is looking for a partner here? Anyone else? Yes, we're looking for partners. Look, our time is up and is flashing, but please continue this conversation. They'll be around. Let's make this, this continue continue this conversation. And look, CrossTech, our team, my team, is here to help you. We have the app, but if you need to meet someone, if you want to, who does that, who does that, ask us. We try to help you, and this doesn't end, tomorrow when the conference ends. You can reach out to us. We try to help. We try to help companies. Sometimes we can just refer a person. Sometimes a company says, okay, we want this, and we say, okay, we can build a project for you, and it's a different thing, But we're here to do this, to make partnerships happen. So thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.